It's the singer's eyes, the singer's only. Singer's eyes, the singer's only.
Hey you guys, it's Crystal Sherelle from Indie Artist School. Welcome to the Singer's Arsenal. Today we're going to talk about how to build your confidence in 2021. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe to this channel if you're watching on YouTube to show your support and let me know which part of today's episode you love the most. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, be sure to subscribe by giving a monthly donation so that I can keep this going. That's anchor.fm/thesingersarsenal/support. So one of the most common things that people come to me for is developing their voice, of course. But there's an added layer into it, and that has to do with lack of confidence. You'd be surprised how many people come to me and tell me, you know what, when I'm singing by myself, I feel great. But the moment I step in front of someone else, it's like everything goes out the window. And you may be sitting there right now wondering, what is going on? And I want you to know it's okay. It's common, it's normal. And I'm gonna help you get out of that right now, okay? Now, I want you to know that it's gonna take some patience, okay? You gotta develop a level of understanding with yourself, knowing that you have this habit, and then be patient as you unravel those tight, restricted thoughts that tell you you can't do it, those tight, restricted thoughts that tell you that the person listening to you hates your voice when it's not even true, okay? So let's go back. All right, so what are some things that you can do to boost your confidence? The number one thing that you can do to boost your confidence with your voice is to make sure that you don't get out of practice for too long, okay? It doesn't matter how great of a singer you are. If you stop singing for a while, you're not gonna feel as secure about your voice simply because you are not sure that it's going to come out the way it used to, okay? And so I know it can seem scary if you've been out of practice to start getting back into the practice of singing, but there's no better time than right now. In fact, there's no better time than yesterday, if we're honest here, right? So you want to make sure you get right back into it. You don't even have to perform in front of people yet. I just want to make sure that you understand that you need to sing. Sing for the love of it. Sing for the joy of it. Sing because it's a passion of yours. Sing because you're an artist. When you do that, it kind of takes a little bit of the edge off, and it allows you to be a little bit more free with yourself and comfortable with your own voice. It's hard to get comfortable in front of other people if you're not even comfortable with yourself, okay? I know that might be a little too real for somebody out there, but I'm just saying, if you get more comfortable with hearing your voice, it just makes it a lot easier for you to at least know what it is that other people are hearing. It gives you some perspective, okay? The second thing you need to do is understand that the person you're singing in front of is 9 times out of 10 on your side. Let that sink in, okay? Because when we're anxious, when we're nervous, when we're feeling a little less than secure, our first thought is that everybody's out to get you. You know what I'm saying? Performance anxiety is just that. It's when you think that the audience is waiting for you to fail. When 9 times out of 10, they're there to enjoy the show. They're there to listen to you. In regards to people who are close to you in your life, you might have got criticism from somebody that you love and know and care greatly about their opinion. But if you've gotten criticism from them, it's usually because they are looking out for you, not because they're against you. And when you understand that the criticism or constructive, hopefully it's constructive. If it's not, if somebody's just completely berating you, then it's time to tune that out and make sure that you're not seeing the entire world through that lens, because most people don't want to make you feel low. You want to make sure you are being receptive to feedback so that you can actually improve yourself, okay? And I know the idea of feedback can be super duper scary if you are afraid, okay? If you're nervous to perform in front of someone, the idea of them, giving you some feedback can be like, oh my goodness, like, whew, that was hard, right? But when you look at it through the lens of this person is trying to help you, then it makes you realize that you have a team And nobody wants to help you unless they believe that you can succeed. If they thought you were a lost cause, they wouldn't say anything. Let's be honest. If they think there's no hope, why give advice? Why give tips, right? So when you change the way you think about it, it just makes it a lot easier for you to be more confident. All right, so you want to make sure you don't get out of practice. All right, remember that too, okay? And then the third thing, let's talk about this. The third thing that you can do to build your confidence right now is something that is actually kind of like a mind hack, okay? And this works no matter what's going on in life or what area of your life you're trying to build confidence in, but positive self-talk, okay? Not only do you want to do this through the words that you say to yourself and how you talk yourself through challenges or those moments, but there's also things you can do physically to boost your confidence as well. And this is something you could do before a show, before a coaching session, or before you even sing in front of yourself. Either way, you can do these two things. One, you want to make sure that you slow your breathing down. A lot of times when we get anxious or nervous, we start breathing very shallow breaths, and they're usually pretty quick and not full. So if you just take a moment to pause and breathe and hiss out and tell yourself it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Then you can calm yourself down. Everything is okay. Everyone is on my side. I'm on my own side. That's the biggest message to tell yourself. I'm on my side. Okay, when you tell yourself these things and you slow your breathing down, it just makes things a little bit easier to handle. It just makes the idea of singing in front of someone a lot easier. And then the next thing that you want to do is you want to stand tall, okay? This has to do with posture, and it's a really weird psychological thing. Studies have shown that when you stand tall, put your hands on your hips with your elbows wide, and you stand like Superwoman, you actually start feeling like Superwoman. There are some weird things that we do when we're feeling nervous, like we kind of hunch over, our back is arched inwards, and we take shallow breaths. We minimize our body. We try to minimize ourselves to take up less space because we don't feel confident. But when you open up and you stand like the superhero that you are, the little superhero inside of you, the little superhero that's inside of everyone, it's that part of you that rises to the occasion. And if you can't think about doing that when you were singing, go ahead and think about something that you've done in the past that was brave. I bet you've done something brave in your lifetime. Think about it. Go to that space. What was it like? What did you feel like when you were brave? Do you remember what happened to your body? How were you standing when you were brave? I bet your chin was up. I bet your shoulders were back. Yeah. And I bet you were taking full breaths and you felt good about yourself. This thing works the other way around too. So not only do you have to be brave to feel brave, but you can feel brave before you actually are brave. It's the weirdest thing. Whatever you got to do to get to that space, do that, okay? And then next thing you know, you do this behind the stage before you get up on stage. I've done this before. I'll never forget the time I opened for Lauryn Hill. I was a nervous wreck. I don't want to get too into it, but yeah, we had a sound check before, and she wasn't in the best mood, and she's definitely someone I looked up to with the greatest respect. And so I was so excited to meet her. And when I saw that she wasn't in the best mood, I got super nervous. I was like, did she hear my sound check? Was I a disappointment? And my mind went to these crazy spaces. But you know what? I found out it had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with me. There was other things going on. A lot of times you might internalize things and think that it has to do with you when it has nothing to do with you, right? And then one of the things I did before I got on that stage was I stood like a superhero. At the time, it was the biggest audience I'd ever performed. It was in the Revention Music Center, which seated, I think, 30,000 people. and I was performing my own music by myself. I had no accompaniment. It was just me and my guitar on a big, huge stage, and I'd never done it before. And honestly, I didn't know if I could pull it off. But what I did is I stood behind that stage with my shoulders on my hips. People were walking by. The grips are the people who put, tape markers down and set up instruments on the stage before you walk up. They were walking behind. They had no idea what I was doing. They were like, why is this girl doing it? What is she standing like this for? But I just stood there with my hands on my hips. I closed my eyes. I took some slow breaths. I heard the crowd before I ever got there, and I tried to tune them out before I got up there. And I told myself, you can do this. You can do this. Next thing you know, I was up on that stage and I did my best performance I'd done ever, okay? Even though prior to that, I thought I was gonna fumble the ball. No, it was great. It was a wonderful performance. I gained a lot of new fans through that experience, and it led to other opportunities. But let me tell you, if I would have let my lack of confidence and insecurity and the fact that I'd never done it before eat me alive, if I would have internalized the experience at the sound check and took it to mean that it meant I was no good or that I couldn't do my best, well then I would have sabotaged myself. And the best thing I can tell you is that you can do this. No matter what stage you are in your career, that might mean you've got to get used to singing in front of yourself first. Maybe it means you've got to realize that the people who are listening to you, like your family, your friends, or maybe some of your Instagram followers or your vocal coach, whatever, that they're on your side, and that you just got to do a little bit of positive self-talk to get through it. If you're building your confidence and you want to improve it and take it to the next step, and you want to develop your voice along the way as well, then visit my website, indieartistschool.com. I give virtual coaching sessions one-on-one on Zoom. And I also have an online course called the Indie Artist Toolkit, which teaches you the beginnings of how to sing, as well as how to release your own music as an indie artist. If that sounds like something that's of interest to you, go to indieartistschool.com. Also, if you're really ready to enroll, just book a consult with me by going to calendly.com/indieartistschool. Well, you guys, until next time, have a wonderful day.